Man, monster, myth. Count Dracula is all of these things and more. But who is the man behind the fangs in the Last Voyage of the Demeter? There have been a lot of live-action versions of Dracula over the years, but few of them are as outright monstrous as the creature featured in 2023's The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This version of the classic vampire is an absolute horror to behold, with bat-like wings, elongated ears, and a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth.
Satan's black blood pumping corruption through his veins. God's anger has come upon this vessel like Jonah.
Shut up!
It's such a ghoulish, inhuman rendition of the character, in fact, that it may be easy for audiences to forget there's an actor under all that prosthetic makeup. The Dracula featured in The Last Voyage of the Demeter is played by none other than Javier Botet, and the drastic difference in appearance between the real-life actor and his on-screen persona may prove shocking to some viewers. If Botet's name sounds familiar, it's probably because the performer has been routinely involved in major horror films for well over 15 years, and in most cases, he's playing something spooky. For the bulk of his career in film and television, Javier Botet has worked as a specialized type of actor known as a creature performer. As the name implies, that means he more often than not portrays inhuman or monstrous characters that require a lot of preparation by way of prosthetics and makeup. In addition to Dracula, Botet has played some of the most terrifying horror movie villains out there. He appeared as a crooked man in The Conjuring 2, a xenomorph in Alien Covenant, various forms of It in It and It Chapter 2, and Slender Man in Slender Man, to name but a few. Suffice to say, he knows his way around horror. Interestingly enough, Botet has a unique capacity to physically manipulate his body, something which he uses to great effect in his roles. In an interview with the BBC, he said, "I have a disease called Marfan syndrome. It makes people skinnier, taller, and very flexible. So I was all my life very flexible. All my life doing weird tricks and things to enjoy with my friends using very creepy movement." While many of Botet's biggest roles are scare-filled creature flicks, he has also amassed credits in non-horror productions, some of which have him in prosthetics while others don't. Recent years have also seen him cross over to mainstream sci-fi and fantasy franchises, appearing as an undead wight in Game of Thrones and one of the alien Ba'ul in Star Trek Discovery. While Botet has played a cavalcade of mainstay monsters in his time, he had long awaited the opportunity to sink his teeth into the role of Dracula. The actor did once play the character all the way back in a 2007 episode of the Spanish series Los Hombres de Paco, but he wanted nothing more than to bring the horror icon to life in a full-fledged monster movie. Last Voyage of the Demeter turned out to be his big shot. In an interview with Screen Rant, Botet spoke about getting cast as Dracula, as well as reuniting with director Andre Overdahl on Last Voyage of the Demeter. He said, "For me, it would be an honor, and finally it happened. It was great to know that Andre Overdahl was directing, because after a lot of projects, you need to meet a lot of new people. It's fine, but always when you are going to need a big crew, when you've worked already with somebody, it's easier, it helps. I remember it was so easy and so nice." Botet particularly relished the chance to portray Overdahl's unique take on Dracula, a brutal, animalistic being who transforms from a weakened wretch to a terrifyingly powerful force of darkness. As he says, "Our Dracula was not a classical, sexy guy, so for me, it was good to try something different, something more heavy."